Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. St. Thomas woman loses leg during nomination day motorcade. Electoral Commission of Jamaica to use social media to improve voter turnout. And later in sports, Shelly-ann Fraser-Pryce to hang up spikes after Paris Olympics. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters and here are the details. Jamaica's two major political parties are to face off in 2 rounds of debates next week ahead of the February 26 local government election. The Jamaica Debates Commission, JDC, says the $24 million debates will be held on February 15 and 17. During a press conference this morning, Chairman of the JDC, Noel Da Costa, told journalists that each debate will run for 90 minutes. In the first encounter, selected participants from the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, and the People's National Party, PNP, will face off on questions relating to local government policy. For night 2, the discussion will surround local government at work. Now, we will have more on the story in primetime news at 7. In recent years, Jamaica has seen a steady decline in the number of people taking part in the electoral process. But the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ, is hoping to turn that tide. It says it will be taking advantage of new media to persuade Jamaicans to take part in the election process. Details in this report. 30.6%. That was the voter turnout in the last local government election almost 8 years ago. But if the Director of Elections, Glasspool Brown, has his way, that figure could significantly increase for the next poll. Mr. Brown says the ECJ will be using avenues including social media to encourage registered voters to be part of the process come election day, February 26.
What we're doing, I think we're starting on a social media platform and also in the traditional press to a message that will be starting early this week, by this weekend, and pointing out as to why you ought to exercise that right. And we are also assuring persons that on the day we'll be ensured that you are safe and secure when you enter in our voting environment. And also we can guarantee you that the process will be fair and your ballot will cast in secrecy.
He was speaking Friday on the morning agenda on Power 106. On Thursday, 499 candidates were nominated to contest the February 26 election. Meanwhile, Special Service electors, which comprises members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Jamaica Defence Force, and Election Day workers, will cast their ballots on February 22. A woman is among 2 persons injured during nomination day jubilations on Thursday. The extent of the other person's injury is not known. However, part of the woman's leg was severed from her body during a motor vehicle crash in St. Thomas. With the announcement of every election comes worrying antics by supporters of both political parties. That antics? Fast driving with bodies protruding through the windows of cars and buses, and the regular gallivanting on trucks. And nomination day 2024 was no different. In St. Thomas, 1 woman was seriously injured during a crash involving a truck transporting Jamaica Labour Party supporters in Roach Gully, St. Thomas, Thursday afternoon. It's understood that one of her legs was severed during the crash. It's reported that about 4 p.m. a motorcade was heading towards Morant Bay following nomination day activities when the truck reportedly reversed to give way to another vehicle. The woman's leg got caught between the truck and the embankment, which resulted in her injury.
It cut off like top of the knee. It cut off because the doctor said it mash up, so him say, you know, make him, he cut it off and 2 or 3 are 2 up and the next foot cut off too. And the next foot damaged too, but are 2 or 3 are the 2, I'm not sure.
James Robertson, who is the Member of Parliament for St. Thomas Western, also said that a man was injured in the incident.
I only got a call that there was an accident. And I, as I would always do, went to the hospital to meet them as quickly as possible. It happened before you come into White Horses. So after you leave that long stretch that we used to refer to as Jamaica, Botany Bay, right after Botany Bay, you're coming up the hill into White Horses.
But despite losing her leg and a few toes,
she said, "We don't have to worry, because she was all right," that's what she said.
The government is being blasted for not addressing drain issues ahead of the official opening of a section of the Southern Coastal Highway. Karen Simpson tells us more.
On Tuesday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness officially opened the remaining section of the St. Thomas leg of the Southern Coastal Highway, but some residents of St. Thomas boycotted the presentation.
The people of St. Thomas has gotten less than 30% of what they bargained for in terms of the infrastructure of the road network in St. Thomas and its environs. If we are now in Grandspen and none of the drains that should support the road network is completed.
The water run come kill off the people. Total destruction. And when we are talking about lives, that is serious about life, because even one life was saved. That is so important.
During Mr. Holness's presentation, he assured residents who say they are frequently flooded because the road has been raised during the highway construction that they will get redress. But that did not sit well with Councillor for the Landow Division, Edwin Marr.
Behind us is these two massive drains that collects all the water from the entire Albion Heights, and it is emptied into the community of Grandspen without any regulation whatsoever. And we have spoken about the situation, and on the other side, both sides of this massive drain,
he is demanding swift action.
It is the wickedest act that can be transmitted to any person, especially a community like Grandspen. We are asking the authority to pay a second look and to ensure that remedy, some reconstruction takes place to ensure that the people of Grandspen and its environs can enjoy life and enjoy life comfortably.
Kerry-ann Simpson, TVJ News.
Chairman of the St. Ann Municipal Corporation, Sidney Stewart, says he is 100% sure that the Jamaica Labour Party will continue its control of the corporation after the February 26 local government election.
We certainly are going to take all 4 divisions back for the Labour Party. In fact, I've said before, and I'm holding close to my chest, that we are going to increase our numbers in the municipality side. We are now 11, and we are going to move that up to 13. Northwest St. Ann has no doubt that we are going to win all 4 seats.
Opposition councillors in St. Ann have created a long list of reasons they believe they should take control of the municipal corporation. But Mr. Stewart says he is not daunted.
Several work has been done. The truth, it manifested itself right across the entire constituency. Every councillors are doing a great job. We did a lot of work on road surfaces. We did a lot of work in providing containers, wayside tanks for the different communities in rural areas. We did a lot of work in ensuring that we can have those street lights repaired. We did a lot of work to ensure that certain facilities and amenities are available to the people. So the atmosphere right now is high. We're not going to lose that. We're going to create a greater momentum right into election day.
And it's time for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. The perception of crime in the country continues to be a problem on the international scene, with a number of countries issuing travel advisories to their citizens visiting Jamaica. But there continues to be a stark defense of Jamaica's crime figures. Data from the Jamaica Constabulary Force shows that up to February 3, there was a 23.9% reduction in crime compared to the similar period last year. And Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says the rate of crime against tourists remains low.
When we start to do the overall crime rate for visitors, that's all crime, we are seeing a 26 per million incidents. When we looked at it for the actual homicide rate for visitors, it's more like 2.3 per million.
He says those figures are way lower than the country's actual homicide rate. But the police commissioner says those figures should not be seen as good because of the impact of organized crime.
Even though that is the case, the impact of it on the country's reputation, on how people feel about moving around the country, and of course, on our international reputation cannot be understated. So, but it's important for us who are technical people to work with data and understand what the data is telling us. Without that, we start to implement solutions that don't impact the problem.
And it's time for the Business Minute. Tropical Battery Company has acquired Rose Electronics Distributing Company, also known as Rose Batteries. The firm is based in San Jose, California, in the heart of Silicon Valley. Rose Batteries specializes in batteries for industries requiring critical power, including healthcare and aerospace. Tropical Battery says the acquisition of Rose Batteries represents a significant milestone in its diversification strategy. The deal was completed through Tropical's U.S. subsidiary Tropical Battery USA, LLC. The company says while the purchase price is subject to strict non-disclosure restrictions, the price significantly exceeds 50% of the market capitalization of Tropical. The integration of Rose Batteries will help firm up the company's expansion into the United States. Further afield, TikTok and Temu have pulled cheap electric heaters from their online stores after finding that they could explode or start house fires. The consumer group tested 8 heaters, the cheapest of which was £7, and found most did not meet UK safety standards. It said the devices, some of which had been promoted by influencers on TikTok, posed a serious safety risk to users. TikTok and Temu both said customer safety was their priority. However, despite both companies removing the items from sale, it was reported that more similar listings have since appeared in their place. And that's it for the Business Minute. Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, Brazil's ex-president Jair Bolsonaro has surrendered his passport as the investigation continues into the 2023 storming of Brazil's Congress by his supporters. Police accuse him of having led a failed plot to remain in power after losing the election to his left-wing rival Luiz Lula da Silva. Mr. Bolsonaro says the operation is politically motivated. 3 of Mr. Bolsonaro's allies have been arrested. The head of his political party has also been detained. On the international scene, a special counsel has found that U.S. President Joe Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials. However, he will not be charged. The report says it would be difficult to convict him as he comes across as an elderly man with a poor memory. The investigation began more than a year ago after secret documents were found in Mr. Biden's home and former private office. The files were, however, returned to U.S. officials once discovered. And at least 4 people have died in a northern Indian state after authorities demolished a mosque, alleging it was constructed illegally. Violence broke out during what police say was an anti-encroachment drive. Muslims who prayed at the mosque say they have been unfairly targeted. Hundreds of protesters and police personnel were injured in the clashes, which broke out on Thursday evening. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, Jermaine Brown will have your midday sports report.